24 hours after thousands stormed the US Capitol building, there are growing calls for Donald Trump to be removed from office as an investigation into the security breach begins. Yesterday's storming of the Capitol by a violent mob, including white supremacists, conspiracy theorists and other extremists, left 4 people dead, including a woman shot inside the Capitol building. 68 people have been arrested so far, and the FBI is urging the public to come forward with information on the rioters. The attack on the seat of US democracy has shocked the nation and caused a flurry of resignations from Donald Trump's own administration over his incitement of the riot and failure to condemn it. A review into the security response has been launched by police, and thousands of members of the National Guard have been mobilised.
Congress officially certified Joe Biden's election in the early hours of the morning, rejecting attempts by some of Mr. Trump's remaining Republican backers to overturn the results in 2 states. And the outgoing president has issued a statement promising a smooth transition of power, although he still has not condemned yesterday's violence. But Democrats are pushing for him to be removed before the inauguration. Let's go back to Catherine Diss, who joins us from Washington with the latest. So as we've been on air, Catherine, so many people, key players in this drama, have been speaking. What have they been saying?
Good morning, Madeline. They certainly have. President Trump has released a statement this morning on Twitter via one of his confidants, because he's currently banned from using the social media platform, where he has said that he would allow a smooth transition of power. But as you mentioned, he hasn't yet conceded that his election, that he lost the election, and has continued to say that he would fight to ensure all the legal votes are counted. It's also worth noting that Facebook and Instagram have now banned the president from using both of those platforms until at least after inaugurations. Mark Zuckerberg saying that it was just too dangerous to let him continue to use those platforms. We've also heard from President-elect Joe Biden today. He was out announcing his key Justice Department nominees, but of course he led off with the events that we saw unfold yesterday, where he's given a scathing review of what happened. He's called it one of the darkest days in American history. It's an assault on liberty and the US Capitol itself. He described the people that descended onto the Capitol building as rioters, a mob, insurrectionists, domestic terrorists, and described the president in no uncertain terms as using language of an autocrat and a dictator. Let's take a listen.
Yesterday, in my view, one of the darkest days in the history of our nation. An unprecedented assault on our democracy. An assault literally on the citadel of liberty in the United States Capitol itself. An assault on the rule of law. An assault on the most sacred of American undertakings.
Now, we've also been hearing, Catherine, a number of people, key players, coming out calling for the 25th Amendment. Just explain for the viewers what that is and who's calling for that.
Yeah, look, several members of Congress have called for that. Nancy Pelosi, who is the House Speaker, she is a Democrat. She has urged Congress and Mike Pence, the Vice President, Mike Pence, to push ahead with that. He is the one who can implement it, and that would mean the immediate removal of President Trump from office. And she's threatened to go down the path of impeachment again if they do not go ahead with implementing that amendment. And impeachment would be on the grounds of sedition, due to the fact that the president is accused of inciting people to descend on the Capitol to overtake the state. Let's take a listen to Nancy Pelosi.
I join the Senate Democratic leader in calling on the Vice President to remove this president by immediately invoking the 25th Amendment. If the Vice President and the Cabinet do not act, the Congress may be prepared to move forward with impeachment. That is the overwhelming sentiment of my caucus.
So the stakes are really high now. Catherine, it's great to see you out and about yesterday. I have to say we have so many people at home got in touch with us saying what a terrific job you did amongst all of that melee yesterday in bringing us calm and clear information. What is it like today in the capital city in Washington, DC?
Yeah, look, it was quite chaotic last night, but after that curfew did come into place and police dispersed that tear gas to be able to push the crowd away from the Capitol building. The situation did get under control fairly quickly, but it was still fairly tense into the evening there. But today it is far calmer simply from the fact that the sheer number of people who descended on the Capitol yesterday have now largely dispersed, but there still is a tense nature in the air at the moment, and that is because of the number of law enforcement officers who are on the ground trying to make sure that what happened yesterday does not happen again. We have seen a 2-metre fence erected around the grounds of the Capitol building to ensure that people can't get into the lawn or make their way up to the building, and the number of law enforcement officers who are patrolling the area has increased 5-fold as of noon today, and that will remain in place for at least the next 30 days, with the Capitol remaining under a public state of emergency for the next 15 to ensure that Joe Biden's inauguration goes ahead without any kind of hitch.
Catherine, this in Washington, thanks for being out for us again today.